Back in 2016, I made a video called "Would You Kill a Dog to Save a Human?" Pretty thought-provoking title, am I right? It did rustle a few jimmies. I got 2.4 thousand dislikes on it, but look how many comments it's got. 8.8 thousand. It got people talking, now didn't it? The video is based on something called the moral machine. It's an MIT project where you have to decide what a self-driving car should do in a certain situation. If the brakes fail and you can either hit a bunch of old ladies crossing the street or a bunch of babies crossing the street, what should the car do? Or should the car not do either and just kill the driver instead? Pretty complicated stuff, but I think it's super interesting, and that's why today we're gonna do some more philosophy stuff. I am gonna be answering some very tough questions today. You might not like my answers, but that's okay. If you have anything you want to talk about, there's a comment section down below, and if you want to check out my video on the moral machine, I'm gonna leave that link in the description. I'm also gonna leave one more link there as well, another cool philosophy video I did, something called the evolution of trust. If you want to check that out, link down below. Philosophy experiments! 80% of men who visit the website compared to only 76% of women think that torture is sometimes morally justified. What do you think? I think that's just a little thought-provoking question to start this off. I don't know why it's there. You know, there is no box to put in your answer, but it's a tough question, man. You know, if somebody had to do some awful things to my child, I'd probably just torture him. You know, I'd probably do that for revenge. Maybe that wouldn't technically be a moral justification. I don't really know. If you could torture a man to save 100 people, does that mean it's morally justified? I don't know, man. This video is not gonna have a lot of pretty pictures for you guys, so if you need that in order to enjoy a YouTube video, this probably isn't the video for you. Sorry. There's just a bunch of links here. I've only clicked on one so far. Should you kill the fat man? Let's do that one first, huh? Should you kill the fat man? This activity is a treatment of some of the issues thrown up by a thought experiment called the trolley problem. You've probably heard of that. You got a train coming down the tracks and you can either divert the train or keep it going straight. There might be like one person if you go straight and 4 people if you divert it. Whatever, and you gotta decide who lives and who dies. It's a pretty tough decision, and there's no real right answer. It's just whatever you think is ethically correct. Before we start, we need to ask you 4 preliminary questions so we get a sense of the way you think about morality. There are no right or wrong answers, just select the option that most corresponds to your view. Torture, as a matter of principle, is always morally wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. Question 2, the morality of an action is determined by whether, compared to the other available options, it maximizes the sum total of happiness of all the people affected by it. I'm gonna say no, okay? Because if you could kill one person to make 5 people happy, does that mean you should kill the person? I mean, maybe those 5 people will be happy enough for several people. You know, like if that one guy is no longer happy because he's dead, well, does it make up for it by the other 5 people being happy? I don't think that's really a justification. It is always and everywhere wrong to cause another person's death, assuming they wish to stay alive if the outcome is avoidable. Well, I mean, that begs the question, is the other outcome better or worse? So I'm gonna say no, because there's gonna be situations where maybe killing someone is better. If you can save the lives of innocent people without reducing the sum total of human happiness and without putting your own life at risk, you are morally obliged to do so. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you should do it. You should save lives if it's not gonna hurt you, if it's not gonna put your life at risk. All right, so those are my answers. 310,000 people have completed the activity, apparently. 60% say yes to torture being always wrong. Maximize happiness, 55% said no. Cause death, always wrong, 57%, and save innocent life, obliged, 77%. The thing people agree on most is you should probably save someone if you can, if you're not gonna die yourself in the process. The brakes of the train that Casey Jones is driving have just failed. There are 5 people on the track ahead of the train. There is no way that they can get off the track before the train hits them. What are you doing on the train tracks? Get off the train tracks, idiots! Anyway, the track has a siding leading off to the right, and Casey can hit a button to direct the train onto it. Unfortunately, there's one person stuck on the siding. Casey can turn the train, killing 1 person, or he can allow the train to continue onwards, killing 5 people. Should he turn the train and kill 1 guy to avoid killing 5? I took philosophy in university, and it's never about the right answer. It's about looking at the different ways you can think about it. You could think about it as in, should you save the most amount of people? In which case you would say, turn the train. Or you can think about it as in, well, I mean, 5 people know that the train is coming, and that, you know, the train tracks, they shouldn't be on them anyway. The train is supposed to go that way. Should you interfere? I mean, that poor guy who's on the train track who's not supposed to get hit, why should he die? Just because other people are on the other track. Is that fair? I would turn the train just because, I mean, you know, 5 people. It's 5 people. I'd rather save 5 people and kill 1 than the other way around. The fat man on the bridge. Marty Bakerman is on a footbridge above the train tracks. He can see the train approaching the bridge is out of control, and that is going to hit 5 people who are stuck on the track just past the bridge. The only way to stop the train is to drop a heavy weight onto its path. The only available heavy enough weight is a very fat man who is also watching the train from the footbridge. Marty can push the fat man onto the track into the path of the train, which will kill him but save the 5 people already on the track. Or he can allow the train to continue on its way, which will mean that the 5 will die. So this is a very similar problem, but now, instead of turning the train, you are pushing an innocent person onto the tracks to save the 5 people. It's not so easy now, is it? Because it's not a choice of one or the other. You have to actively kill a person. Is it my responsibility to save 5 people by killing 1 person? No, I don't think it is. Don't worry about that fat man, okay? That fat man deserves to live just as much as anyone else, even if he is fat enough to stop a train. So they're saying that my response is consistent with my belief that morality is not just about maximizing happiness. Fair enough. And apparently most people would not push the fat man. Cool. Have a look at the scenario below. It'll be interesting to see whether you maintain your newfound consistency. This time, guys, Marty Bakerman knows with absolute certainty that the fat man on the bridge is responsible for the failure of the train's brakes. He did it. It's his fault. 5 innocent people are gonna die because of the fat man who screwed the brakes up somehow. Upset by train fare increases, he sabotaged the brakes with the intention of causing an accident. As before, the only way to stop the train and save the lives of the 5 people already on the track is to push the fat saboteur off the bridge into the path of the train. Well, now you're deciding whether the fat man should kill 5 people or you should kill the fat man. And if I had a choice to kill someone who's trying to kill someone else to save those people, I would do it. So let's push that damn fat man off the tracks, onto the tracks. Yeah. So the fat man wasn't an innocent man anymore. He was a bad man, and it's easier to kill a bad man, because he probably deserves to die if he's trying to kill 5 people. That's death penalty worthy right there. This video is 100% gonna be demonetized, but I don't care, all right? Let's just keep talking about killing people. The fat man, having avoided being thrown in front of the runaway train, has been arrested and is now in police custody. He states that he is a hidden nuclear device in a major urban center which has been primed to explode in 24 hours time. The following things are true. Bomb's gonna explode in 24 hours. It will kill 1 million people if it explodes. If bomb disposal experts get to the bomb before it explodes, there's a chance it could be defused. The fat man cannot be tricked into revealing the location of the bomb, nor is it possible to appeal to his better nature, nor is it possible to persuade him that he was wrong to plant the bomb in the first place. So he's not gonna change his mind. The fat man, if he is tortured, it is estimated a 75% chance he will give up the bomb's location. If the fat man does not reveal a location, the bomb will explode and 1 million people will die. There is no other way of finding out where the bomb is located. Should he be tortured? Should you kill this bad person who is trying to kill 1 million people? Is it better to torture 1 man or kill 1 million people? I think I'd probably torture the fat man. I mean, even if he wasn't gonna give me the answer, he probably deserves it. You know, get those nipple clamps ready. Your response that the fat man should be tortured is in direct contradiction with your earlier claim that torture as a matter of principle is always wrong. Now, you're right, I did contradict myself, and I will have to go back now, because sometimes it is right to torture someone. There's a greater good, you know? And I mean, geez, a lot of people have went down a lot of bad paths because things were the greater good. But, yeah, I stick with what I said about torturing the fat man. I'll flip what I said. Sometimes it's morally right to do it, okay? Now, although I contradicted myself, I still have a consistency quotient of 83%, and that's higher than the average, which is 77%. So I am more consistent. Take that, average person. So most people said, turn the trolley. Most people said, don't push the fat man. Most people said, push the bad fat man. And most people said, torture the fat man. Now, 22% are okay with 1 million people dying because they don't think it's worth torturing that guy. Okay, that's fine. Now, I can only do a few philosophy experiments in one video, guys, because they take a while. But if you enjoy this type of video and you want to see more philosophy experiments, leave a like down below. I think we're gonna go with, would you eat your cat? Because that is a great title for a video. The aim of this activity is to tell you something about how you view the morality of behavior that many people would consider to be disgusting or repellent or obviously wrong, but where it is difficult to explain exactly why the behavior should be seen this way. In extreme circumstances, people will do extreme things. Now, we have some preliminary questions before we get into the cat eating, so let's do them. Question 1. A small girl is playing on a swing in a local playground when an adult comes along and pushes her off into the dirt for no other reason than that he'd had a bad day at work and wanted to take it out on somebody who couldn't fight back. Are his actions morally wrong? Yes! Don't hurt the poor kid just because you're in a bad mood. That one's pretty obvious. I think most people would probably agree there. Maybe there's some bad people out there who think it's totally fine to push kids off swings. Is it possible for an action to be morally wrong solely because people find the idea of it a bit disgusting? For example, if lots of people found the idea of eating porridge disgusting, could it be morally wrong to eat porridge just for this reason and no other reason? No. No, it's not wrong just because it grosses you out. Can an action be morally wrong if the only person harmed by it is the person undertaking the action? For example, is it morally wrong to smoke if it is true that nobody except the smoker is harmed? I don't think an action is wrong if nobody gets hurt. Whatever you want to do to yourself is your prerogative, so no. Does morality come from God or from some other source independent of nature, the social world, and human judgment? I'm saying no to that. I think that morality comes from humans themselves. What I think is moral is not what you think is moral. And if there's no agreed upon, if there's no concrete what is moral and what's not, then no. Morality is just whatever you want it to be, really. You know, like most things. Good, there doesn't seem to be much wrong with those responses. It's entirely possible you're going to do well here. Carl Bianchi's mother was very ill. On her deathbed, she asked him to promise that he would visit her grave at least once a week. Carl didn't want to disappoint his mother, so he promised that he would. But after his mother died, he didn't keep his promise. He was too busy. He didn't tell anyone about his promise, and he never felt guilty for failing to do as he said he would. Was anybody harmed by the fact that Carl failed to keep his promise he made to his mother on her deathbed? No, nobody was harmed. Nobody knew. The only person who would be harmed would be Carl himself, and if he chooses not to do it, then that's his choice. Would it have bothered you or made you feel uncomfortable to have watched Carl promising his mother that he'd visit her grave at least once a week if you knew perfectly well that he wouldn't keep his promise? That is a good question. That is a very good question. I think I would be bothered. If I saw someone making that promise, it would bother me, but at the same time, I would understand once she's gone, as long as you told her what makes her happy on her deathbed, I think that's worth more than saying no and meaning it, in a way. It's tough. Betty Slocum's cat was killed in a tragic accident with an out-of-control lawnmower. Oh my God! She had heard that cat meat was jolly tasty, so she cut up her cat, cooked it, and ate it for dinner. To date, she has never regretted her culinary experience, and she claims not to have suffered any harm as a result of cooking and eating Fopsy. Poor Fopsy, man. You ate poor Fopsy! Has anybody been harmed by the fact that Betty Slocum ate her cat? No. As long as Betty didn't kill the cat herself, if the cat was already dead, then it's free real estate. Would it bother you or disgust you to watch somebody eat their pet cat as an evening meal? Yes, it would. And look, I don't really have a justification for that because I've eaten rabbit before, even though I've owned rabbits as well. It's just that cats are never something that I've ever thought about as a food. Same thing with dogs, you know? So yeah, it would bother me, but it doesn't mean it's immoral or whatever. That just means that I wouldn't want to look at somebody doing it. Robert and Mary are brother and sister. One night while on vacation together away from home and staying alone in a tent on a beach, they decided it would be fun to have woo with each other. The following things about them are true. They enjoyed it. They knew that because of a medical condition, Mary could not get pregnant. They decided they would not have with each other again, and they have not, but they have never regretted the experience. In fact, they are still pleased that it happened and consider it to be a special and positive event. It has also remained their secret. Has anybody been harmed by the fact that they did it? No. Would it bother or disgust you if you found out that a brother and sister you know personally were enjoying an ongoing relationship with each other? Yeah, probably. Probably would. I'm probably like, why are you doing that? You know, there's plenty of fish in the sea. You know, there's like 8 billion people on the planet. You don't need to do your brother or sister. So 86% of people say nobody was harmed by Carl not visiting his mother's grave once a week. However, you also stated that it would have bothered you to watch him make this promise to his mother if you knew he had no intention of keeping his word. 55% of people would be similarly bothered. You can be bothered by something and still acknowledge that it's not really a big deal. 91% of people think nobody would be harmed if you ate your already dead cat, which makes sense. However, I stated it would bother me, and 74% of people will be bothered by that. So more people then will be bothered by the guy not visiting his mother's grave. And 89% of people think what Robert and Mary didn't harm anybody. I mean, it didn't. Nobody was harmed by that. You know, it's their little secret. However, I also stated it would bother me, 69%. That's a very interesting number of people to have said that they'd be bothered by that. More people will be bothered by you eating your already dead cat than they would be if you did your own brother or sister. So now they're asking about the morality. Same thing. I'm pretty sure I already explained this, but was Carl wrong to do what he did to his mother? No, not really. Was Betty wrong to eat her cat? No. And were Robert and Mary wrong to do that? No. Nobody was morally wrong. I don't think morals exist outside of causing harm to other people. Then again, maybe not, guys, because it would be morally wrong, I think, to say, peep on someone in the shower without their knowledge. Did you cause any harm? Technically, no, but you are infringing on someone's rights. So I think in a way that is a type of harm. I don't know, man, maybe it's a question for a different day. Okay, so my moralizing quotient is 0% because I didn't think any of them were morally wrong, and my yuckometer is 0% because I didn't let my disgust influence my answer. Only 55% of people think that Carl did no wrong by what he did to his mom. 71% of people think that Betty did no wrong with what she did to her cat, and 56% of people think Robert and Mary did no wrong. That's kind of interesting. Most people think the most moral of those situations is eating your own cat. They think it's more moral to eat your own cat than to break a promise to someone who's dead. All right, guys, I hope that was a titillating experience for you. If you disagree with anything I said, feel free to leave it down below in the comments. I just ask that you please respect other people. There's no right or wrong answers here. Hear people out. Hear what they have to say. All right, that's how discussions work. Don't be a jerk. Here is the full list of experiments on philosophyexperiments.com, guys. If any of these catch your eye and you want to see me make a video on them, let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.